in the cabbage.
But let's get it.
Test.
Yeah, we're live.
Welcome to In the Cabbage. This is crazy.
This is pretty bananas right now that we're actually doing this.
I'm Tommy Swain, Andrew Witt. Please subscribe, please listen, please download, like. And just a reminder, keep swinging. Welcome back to In the Cabbage. I'm your boy, Tommy Swain. To my right, or your left, Andrew Witt.
What up, y'all?
What up, buddy? We are back on your video. One day evidence will show we're in a new comfy corner.
Maybe by episode 50.
Yeah, we'll see.
We're just going to keep you guessing.
Eventually, it'll be up there at some point.
But the cozy corner is still in effect here.
This is cozy corner times 2, though. This is really cozy. It's just the couch is much more comfortable.
I just realized we went no shoes today.
That's how comfortable we are.
Yeah.
I'm real.
Usually we keep it
back.
a little bit more profesh, but the shoes are off. You can hardly say it's profesh here.
Profesh. It is pretty profesh over here. We actually just got back from the gym, so we might feel the energy feeling very calm and relaxed.
Yeah, I think so. Energy is up, though, because we're just, got the heart pumping a little bit. What'd you think of the workout, bud?
I'm exhausted.
It's never fun. Or even just hit legs. It's never something I look forward to, but it's always something that feels great once you're past it.
Yeah, it was, to give people a little insight, Madison was gone last week for 5 days, Monday through Friday.
Boy's running free.
Boy is running free like a banshee out of hell. I am hitting everything that I would personally want to do. Eating what I want, eating late, like playing video games until odd hours, like not sleeping great, not working very hard.
Making the most of your time, baby.
Yeah, and just like, just like soaking in this time, alone. And I was an absolute degenerate this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't say it, but
degenerate.
Thank you.
Like there's a little D in there.
Oh my god, degenerate.
That's why you got your boy. That's why you got your boy here, baby.
I almost passed out. I almost went.
That was full Tommy mode right there.
My eyes almost rolled in the back of my head, and I almost passed out. I couldn't even say it because that's how bad it was. But yeah, I just as you know, and as the people know, I was on this journey of trying something new, I would say. And I did
the
great.
21 days of no eating past 9, 21 days of trying to form a habit of doing some yoga here and there.
Right. And it just got to a place where the wheels fell off the bus again, and I just went ham. And I just stopped caring. And when Madison was gone, for whatever reason, I was just like, fuck it.
It's my time.
Yeah. And I think one of the eye-opening moments was I was playing video games. I'm a 30-year-old man,
Nothing wrong with little video games. I
love it.
I dabbled myself a little bit over the weekend, too.
Love it. It's super fun. Play with my brother and my cousin, and it's always a great time. I always laugh super hard. It's fun. It's a fun way of being competitive and just not sit there and
I was going to say, we can't
TV.
take away from the video games here because video games are great. It's a way to be competitive. It's a way to hang out with people that doesn't have to, you don't have to go somewhere. You don't have to go and orchestrate anything. It's just a quick text, hop online for 2-3 games. Boom. When you're there, you're done.
And it's fun. And, it's always a good time. But the weird part is I'm eating candy. It's midnight. I'm eating candy, had a couple cocktails. I'm feeling a little loopy. I'm laughing. And I started choking on a Nerds cluster.
By the way, most goated candy there is. I mean,
let's not undersell it. It's the best candy on the market right now.
If y'all haven't not checked it out, it is worthwhile. It's a Nerds rope in a cluster form, and it's just
on fire.
It's untouchable.
It really, truly is. You get a bunch of them in a big bag, and it's great. Don't get me wrong. One of my favorite candies in the market, if not the best candy right now. And I'm just chewing and eating this thing like a savage. I'm laughing, and I inhale half a Nerds cluster straight to the back of the throat.
Oh, God, dude.
And I'm playing games with my brother and Mikey, and they could hear me choking. He's I'm not really breathing very well. I'm starting to the whole time this is happening, like I know I'm fine. Like I can feel that I'm going to pass it.
Right.
It's almost comical that it's not gone yet.
Right.
But at one point you're like, it's still not gone, and I make like a huge gasp for air. Like I make a huge sound in the mic. For Timmy and Mikey did hear it, and when that gasp happened, I was able to clear it up, and I got my
your wits
things back.
about you. Yeah.
But there was a moment where I was like, I'm choking a little bit here.
Yeah, that's not fun.
And I'm
one in the
by
house,
myself.
You don't know how to do a Heimlich on the chair situation.
I would figure it out.
Of course.
I mean, I would just start slapping things
Belly
on my
flop
chest.
flop onto the floor.
I break ribs. It wouldn't matter. Like if it was really dire, I know where a hospital's at. I can jump in a car and try to make it there in time. Like,
sure.
There's things I could have done, but I make the noise. Like
no fun nonetheless.
Noise. Yeah, I make a death noise, like a death rattle, and my brother and my cousin hear it, and I pass the candy, whatever, I swallow it, and I immediately go wash my face off because, it was a little scary.
Right.
But my brother and cousin don't know that I just went and washed my face off, so they're still thinking,
oh, dude, you left him hanging?
I left him hanging.
Oh, my God.
On the mic, I was clear. I said, yo, I'll be right back. I thought I made that clear to them, but my voice was probably so fucked at that point.
Right, a little raspy, whatever's going on with it.
Right, and they don't hear it, and so I wash my face off. I walk back into the room. They hear the door open through the mic,
Yeah, and they're
and Mikey's like, yo, I hear him, and my brother was like, yo, are you there? Because if you don't say something right now, I'm calling 911.
Jesus Christ, dude!
Because they're asking me to move my character in game. I'm not moving the character. So they're thinking all they hear is a death rattle, and their cousin and brother goes missing.
You pulled the most unassuming prank of all time,
right? And I'm laughing so hard because my brother's biggest fear is a moment like that.
Sure, I mean, well, you'd ask anyone.
I mean, if I heard my brother choke on the other end, I'd be terrified. And so it made me laugh because I'm sure Timmy over there was just in a panic.
Yeah,
and there's nothing more I love than making my brother in a panic.
Sure,
but yeah, so it just sparked this. I was a degenerate the rest of the week. Didn't get better. I was I thought I wouldn't eat any more clusters.
Catch yourself 2 minutes later.
Two more clusters. And I was I've already eaten the bag essentially. And at that moment, I was went to bed feeling shitty about myself. And it just kept going. The wheels kept spinning. And I've been trying to lose weight for forever. And it's just now being addicted to something, if someone's addicted to heroin, not that my addiction is anything near that, but it takes a person to kind of get to that point for them to want to do it.
Sure. There is some sort of breaking point. There is some sort of moment, or you do it X amount of times and it's okay, that's it. I'm going to turn over a new page. Yeah. And it sounds like what you're kind of proclaiming to me, what we were just talking about, the gym and working out. It's you've kind of reached that point.
Yeah, I'm feeling either it is now or it's extremely close.
Sure.
I'm hoping it's now. I've been here so many times before and I've done this before and it's never come to fruition. It just feels different. It doesn't feel like I'm making a drastic change. It just feels like it's time.
It's time. Yeah, it's time.
It just
I think that's perfect. It's weird because yes, you told me that it's time, but you've also told me that it's time a few other times.
Right.
But this one truly does feel like it is you're turning the page.
Yeah.
You're looking at a new chapter. You're looking at a new lifestyle. You've already tried. And then you had that little bit of a relapse and you're you know what, dude, I didn't gain anything from that. I'm just hurting myself. And then I also don't feel good when I'm doing it.
Yeah,
and
it's not fun.
Right.
Binge eating is great. When you're in the moment and you're just I'm pulling out candy. I'm eating toast. I'm eating leftovers. I'm eating M&Ms. I'm eating you're like a shark and your eyes glaze over and you just go. And in the moment, it is what it is. I'm an emotional eater and it helps in that little moment. You're just whatever. You're just shoving things that taste good into your face
Sure.
and it feels good. But it's just
There's the repercussions of it though that you say that you feel, and you're like, I don't love doing that, and you've said it a few times, and so
it's like it's just not. I've tasted everything. Like I know what a nerd cluster is going to taste at 12:30 at night. It's going to slap.
Right.
Like it's going to taste great. Like I love food. I'm a huge foodie. Like that's not going to change about me. Like it's like ripping a part of me away, and that's not the case. I just need to be better, and that's just like the facts of the matter. So today was the first day. Like last night, I had ice cream late. I was like, cool. Like this was like me closing a book on it, and today I started. And it wasn't like eating healthy. But it was
just being a little bit more conscious of what's going on.
Can't have drinks during the week as often. Can't like eat past 9 unless I haven't had dinner.
Sure.
Or like I'm absolutely starving and I need to like have chicken or something and veggies.
I knew you were serious when you asked me, yo, what days do you work out?
Yeah,
because I'm hopping in.
Because it's
how do you formulate your workouts? How do you do this? How do you do that?
I just need to I need to figure out.
And you're checking yourself a little bit more on what you're eating, and with the like point system now too. And
I signed up for Weight Watchers today, which I did a long time ago, and it helps me out, which is just tracking what I'm doing, making you accountable, because you put like nerd clusters in a couple times, you're like, dude, what is wrong with me? And it's always in the back of your mind, like nerd clusters is just the theme of it, because that's just the can that almost killed me. And like I just don't feel good.
Yeah.
There's
plenty of things that are just on the horizon too. Like we're not getting any younger. 1.
No.
2, who knows what's going to happen maybe with whatever job opportunity, with kids, with pets, with golf, with hobbies, with other things that you want to do later. And you want to be in a better place to go and live that to the fullest.
I want to feel strong again.
Yeah.
Like I want to feel like I'm like athletic again almost. Like I was never that athletic, but like I could do things a bit easier. Like my weights never stopped me from doing anything.
But you want to get that strength and that mobility and just feeling good and strong. And I don't know, the one part where I do, because don't get me wrong, I don't love working out, but there are moments where I do feel like when I was training a whole bunch in college, when I was doing a ton of stuff, and now in retrospect, I'm not doing anything compared to what I was doing, right? I mean, I just don't have the time. No one does. No one has the time, because it was basically a part or full-time job when you're, competing in college. But there is some part of me that does miss some of that, where I'm like, dude, I was in great shape and I felt great. And I was like extremely coordinated, extremely balanced. And there's times where I don't have my balance, or coordination is not as sharp maybe as it used to be. And it's like, kind of miss that a little bit.
Yeah, I totally get that.
I don't know. There are moments where I start getting in a groove where I'll lift 3 times a week, and I'm doing mobility, and then I'm doing, a little bit of cardio here and there. And then it kind of just starts building one on top of the other. And it kills me actually when I don't get to work out anymore, because I feel like I'm now regressing from where I'm going. And so there is like
a huge step back for you.
Yeah. And it's like, and I hate that. So I don't necessarily don't love when I'm doing it, but there are times where I do enjoy it, because I feel like I am getting to a place where we're not old. I mean, you see people on, playing professional sports till they're 38 and still playing in great shape and, extremely flexible. Like if you take care of your body, it's gonna take care of itself, and it's gonna, go and work the way it should till about probably 55, 60.
Yeah. I would say that's like the real age now, where your body starts to be like, yeah, you gotta chill out.
Sure.
And I want to get to that point. I want to be in a healthy state of mind. One, like during this time, I'm home alone, and I'm not great home alone either. Like I'm definitely a person who needs something or somebody around, just to like keep the demons out of the way. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'm eating like shit. like my OCD is running rampant. Like it's just taking. I'm thinking about things like I've never thought about before.
It's just kind of it's a little bit almost like a snowball effect where it's just it's just really
like I'm worried about death.
Yeah,
like that's like not really me.
Like why? Why?
And I can catch it. I can catch it now. Like where I'm like, I think it just all stems from my body and my brain from what I deduce is like trying to scare me. Like,
sure.
hey, you keep this up, like you're gonna hurt. It's gonna lead to problems. And,
it's a way of saying yes. It could lead to problems, but let's maybe try to go and do something. Let's go fix something. Let's go.
And there's positives
active.
to it. Like I mean, like this is like actually, like right now, I don't think I have personally have felt this calm and this like okay, like mental wise, physical wise, in weeks.
See, that's really nice, dude.
So. Like I don't feel this like urge to run. I don't have an urge to like need to do something, and it's great. It's a great feeling. And I do miss like I think I forget that I missed that part of it, or like
I think that what also makes us chilling and hanging out so much more enjoyable because maybe you can live more in the moment, and you're not so worried about maybe trying to go do something or trying to feel like is this enough. I think part of the reason that it's so great. When we're able to play, like, and let's go back to high school.
Right.
And let's go play a basketball game, right? Or even just a basketball practice.
Right.
We're playing from 4 to 6, and then we can go hang out, get dinner, get pizza, doing whatever, playing video games, hanging out. It just feels like it should be like worked into some part of your day at least 2-3 times a week where you're like going out and doing some sort of physical activity, not just like walking around or going to dinner. Like it's more of like an activity or a workout or a class, even for that matter.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what it is. You know, walking like 9 holes of golf. Boom, perfect.
It's nice. You know, like I've been here before. I've been like, oh, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I hope this is the page. Yeah, I don't know for a fact. You know, but I do feel like
it feels different.
It feels different. It really does.
It feels different to me, too.
It feels like, like deep down in my soul, it feels like, okay, dude, like, I'm not going to be, I've given up the dreams of, like, having a 6-pack and being ripped. Like, it's not me.
I think more of it is just, what we talk about is just the functionality of it.
Right. I just want to be healthy. I want to be able to swing a club better. I want my ankle to stop hurting.
Yeah.
I want, like, I was starting to have lower back pain. And I'm starting to, like, feel things on my body. Like, to be honest, until I turned 30, like I had
you were indestructible.
No aches and pains.
Yeah, you were like, I don't need to stretch. I'm good. I don't believe in that.
Yeah, like I had a torn meniscus and I was still like the next day walking on it.
Playing basketball, doing
like,
whatever.
And I still feel that way. I still feel like my body can hold up to a lot of this stuff. But the fact that I'm even feeling my body now, like, oh, my shoulder hurts today for some reason. Oh, my neck is tight. My lower back hurts. Like I'm noticing things about my body and knowing that's only going to get worse with age and with weight. Like it's like only going to get harder. Sure. And I can tell I used to never feel bloated. Even maybe I looked bloated. I used to never feel bloated.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel like if I eat something crazy, I feel like a balloon.
I hate that. I mean, I get like that, dude. Like I've got a weak little stomach.
Yeah.
It's tough. I don't know.
You got like any dairy product blows you out.
Dude, it's game over for me.
Yeah.
Game over.
Get your boy some milk over here, 2%.
You want to put me out and torture me? Fuck. Just give me some whole milk. Dude, maybe just a cup of yogurt and I'm kaput.
Could you imagine if you're like, you know, like an international spy and they're like, you know, like the only weakness he has is fucking whole milk.
Yeah. Just forget the fucking water droplet torture thing.
Just make you drink a glass of finger. Skim.
No. Just go ahead and it makes me feel like I swallowed just a fucking bundle of knives.
Yeah, dude, you'd be so miserable. I mean, we were in Colorado and you were taking those fucking...
I mean, everything that we ate had either butter or some sort of milk, or it was fried, so it maybe had buttermilk in it. It's just not worth it to me.
Yeah, you're taking
I'm
those
I'm just popping those things like candy, dude. I'm just chucking those things
to the face. You took like 6 or 7 in one day, easily. Yeah. And I just realized how much dairy I have in my house. You can't even eat at my house.
No, it's tough.
Like if you're like, oh, I need a snack, I'm like, I got chips and salsa for you.
That's about it.
And that's about it. Everything else is dairy in
but
it.
boy, do I wish that I could just house. Like, I love like just Greek yogurt, parfaits, ice cream, any sort of like cheese platter, charcuterie board. I mean, I would house all of that stuff, but it's got major repercussions for you.
Yeah. And I think...
And it's not just on me, it's on other people too.
Yeah, you got other people to answer to for that. Poor Katie.
When I'm sharing like an Airbnb, like I got to be really cognizant here.
Yeah, you really got to be careful. Man, I can't wait to travel with us four again. I had an absolute blast.
That was a lot of fun, dude. It was all time. All time.
There's actually, we have a list of things we want to talk about in here, but there's something we brought up a while back last week when we were watching a podcast. We were watching Untold Truths, I think it's called, a documentary with Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I really haven't dove into
Not
the
Baker
whole.
Mayfield, it's Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, Johnny Manziel.
Thank God.
Yeah, good save there.
Johnny Manziel, and I really want to talk about your college career. After I bring up my battle with the caterpillars I had last night.
Let's go into the caterpillar situation.
So,
because you showed me a picture of this thing, and my God, was it a sight to be seen.
My last hurrah was last night, and I, couple cocktails, feeling a little loopy. I have like a little garden in my backyard full of herbs, and we have tomatoes.
Which is so sick, by the way. I would love to have that one day. I have a little bit of a green thumb, and being the cook that you are, like it's all time.
It's super, super fun. I know you would die to have it. It'd be like your dream. Like, trust me, I know like you're gonna have some awesome stuff in your backyard. I don't have like the drive to do it too much, but I love herbs, and herbs are easy to grow in a tiny backyard, and that's what we have. We also have like a small little tomato plant, a couple of them, and they're producing some big fat tomatoes.
Dude, they're booming. It gets a little roasty toasty over in the Tustin area,
which do great for tomatoes.
Great for tomatoes.
So the tomatoes are thriving, and I just happen to go in my backyard, go look at my plants, talk to them, touch them, see what's up, and a tomato's looking worse for wear in the back. It's got a gangster lean to it a bit.
Right.
And I look at it, and I see on one side of it's eaten, like part of it's eaten, like the middle part, and then to the seeds is eaten.
Mm-hmm.
I rip it off the stem, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, we have rats. Like something's eating these fruits, or like, I guess, they're eating these tomatoes, which is a fruit. And
it is.
What am I going to do to stop it? Because I'm not putting the cage on this thing. I'm not netting it. Like, I'm just not going to do all that.
You already have
work.
been slaving away in the backyard for who knows how goddamn long for. You like are bringing out there, breaking like the concrete saw. You're jackhammering shit. You're like building this wooden post. You've done more man labor than you've done in your entire life in like
the last thing I want
weeks.
to do is tent tomatoes. I really don't care about, to be honest. They're going to be a jarred sauce, and I told Madison after this year when they die, we're yanking them out.
Yeah, I mean, you might
it's
as well
just too much space.
You might as well just put more herbs in there.
That's what we're going to do, and then we're going to grow cherry tomatoes on an herb basket on the fence.
There you go. Great.
And then we can like sun-dried tomatoes with cherry tomatoes. I can make other things with that instead of just jarred sauce.
The jarred sauce, you need so much volume. It's so difficult to grow.
I'm going to have like a half a jar of tomato sauce, if that. Which is fine. Who cares? It'll just be fun to do. But anyway, so
maybe you can just grow these caterpillars, dude.
I probably could. So I end up like checking the fruit out, and I'm starting to see like the plants like destroyed, and there's poop all over the ground. And sure enough, I look up, and there's a huge like green caterpillar with little eyes on the side of it, all down the side of it.
Dude, when you show me the picture of this thing, for scale, because the tomatoes are not like little nubs. They're good like 3 inches.
4 inches, yeah, 3-4 inch tomatoes.
This thing is engulfing. Like, it's just so much more massive than this tomato. It's a good like probably 5-6 inches.
Yeah,
this
it's
caterpillar.
A huge tomato and a huge caterpillar. So I see the first one, and the immediate is panic because I don't want to touch it with my hands. So I start freaking out.
I'm such a little baby when it comes to, dude. I don't want any part of that.
Who's else going to do it? I got no other men in the house to handle this for me. So it's Papa. So I got to step up. So I do the only logical thing, and I cut off the branch where it's at, and I take the L and the tomato that was on it, and I yeet that man over the fence.
Right.
Right to the neighbor's yard. I don't know at this point if these caterpillars grow into beautiful butterflies, if I'm supposed to curb stomp them. What am I supposed to do? Because, like, are they helping or are they not?
Well, they looked like they were just going to town.
I deducted they were not helping.
Right.
And he got yeeted into the neighbor's yard. And so I do the damage report. I see about 5 more tomatoes destroyed. Take them all off the vine. And sure enough, there's another one.
Yeah. Dude.
And this boy could take the other one's lunch money.
Oh, God.
And this boy's fatter. And I start to lose it. I go, no fucking way. Is there another huge... And they're called green horn tomato caterpillars.
Yeah. And they're just...
common.
They
eat all nightshades.
And they're loving it back
so
there.
Peppers, eggplants, they're crazy. And I pick up this one, and I yeet them over the yard, too.
Sure, of course.
So I get rid of the rest of it. And
What's one more over the neighbor's fence?
Yeah, he gets heated. And I'm cussing at him, too, because he won't come off the branch. I'm pulling on him. I'm yanking on him. And I'm like, I'm going to rip you in half.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Right.
And so I yank them off and I throw them over. They're big. Like, you feel bad. Like, if I stepped on them.
Yeah, it's not just a little fly. Or
I'd feel it.
Yeah.
You'd feel it. And there'd be blood everywhere. It looked like a Timon and Pumbaa bug. Lion King.
That's such a good analogy right there.
Dude, it's like a big, long, fat bug. And I was doing research afterwards. I get inside and I'm like, okay, how do I stop them? Well, a little tip. If you grow nightshades in your yard, they hate basil. So any vegetables or fruit you're growing, you should have some sort of basil within the bed of the vegetable. Because I guess bugs hate basil.
Does it put off a scent?
Yeah, it's really strong scent and throws them off. The scent of basil will overpower the scent of almost anything else. Like Thai basil, like we have a bunch of Thai basil growing on the bed of our floor. Like none of that's touched.
Got it.
And bees love it.
Got it. Okay.
So there's a tip that you're supposed to grow a bunch of basil within your other vegetables. So there's a little tip.
That's cool.
And I'm okay. So what do I do with this guy? Can't leave him there. So what do I do? Do I drive him to a safe place? Are these bugs like, what am I doing? Read this one girl and she's like, oh yeah, you just fill up a warm bucket of water with some soap and some cayenne pepper and you drown them. I'm like, what are we talking about? Like I'm in the mafia? Yeah. I have to murder these huge caterpillars?
You got like a wanted sign and you're going to
now I'm at war.
You're going to go head hunting for these things.
Now I'm at war. now it's personal. He's taking out I only have so many tomatoes.
Right.
He's taking out the good ones.
Right. And
we already lost them to rot.
You got to go exterminate those boys.
So and then I looked up like how often do I need to check? I have to check 3 times a day. I have to go morning, I have to go afternoon, and I have to go dusk and night. 3 to 4 times a day I have to check on these things. That's
ridiculous, dude. So, and nobody got time for that. And the worst part is that you didn't drown them to death or you didn't curb stomp them.
Yeah, so they might crawl back over the fence for vengeance.
Very well might be over there.
So I'm probably going to go back and have to drown them. That's not what I want to do at 1 o'clock at night is drown caterpillars.
You could just curb stomp them, dude.
I don't want to curb stomp them either.
You're going to feel a little squish out of the foot.
And then I have my shoes ruined. And I can't bring it in the house. But yeah, so I went to war with caterpillars. We went to a reggae concert. We touch on that.
Yeah, that was fire, dude. I thought I was a little skeptical at first with this whole reggae concert because 1, I've never been to one. 2, it's a very, very laid back, very chill. Sometimes when you go to a concert, you're looking to get a little bit more revved up. You're looking to get the juices flowing a little bit more. You're looking to feel a little bit of something, and the
venue was really from what I remember, we used to go to this venue as a kid.
Yep, we did.
You and me together, but separately. I remember the venue being really cool. So my first random makeout was in this venue with a random chick. Boys feeling saucy.
Little Toodles making a little action there, huh?
A little freshman or maybe junior in high school Toodles. Yeah. Sliding down a hill, saying what's up to the ladies.
But yeah, I definitely do remember the whole event and what's the word I'm looking for here?
I don't know. You lost me.
The stage, the event center.
The venue?
Yeah, thank you, dude. The venue was, they put in more bleachers. It looked like they reduced maybe some, there's no hill anymore. The
Yeah, it used
Pacific
to have a hill with
Amphitheater.
a lawn.
Yeah.
And it used to be huge from what I remember.
Maybe it was because we were so much younger, but at the same time, I thought it was just bigger. Like I remember looking down at the stage, and it was so far away, and I was just way up on the hill.
You know, I just came to realize,
What's
buddy.
that?
We weren't at the amphitheater. We were at the Verizon Amphitheater in
Is that
Irvine.
different?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's one in Wild Rivers that has
Oh my God, that's right.
That's the venue.
That's the one. And I kept calling it the Verizon Amphitheater, and everyone's like, dude, it's the Pacific Amphitheater. I'm like,
and
really?
I may have been to the Pacific Amphitheater once before.
Wow. Good call.
I don't know why. I think someone was talking about it. I'm like, oh, they have that huge lawn back there. Oh, wrong amphitheater. But I agree. I remember this amphitheater also being different, also having a lawn.
Yeah.
But just wasn't as big.
Gotcha. So they took all that away.
Yeah.
Didn't have any cocktails there, which is a little bit of a bummer. Just like
Like you gotta have cocktails.
just beer, and not even like IPAs, not even like something like 70%.
Vodka lemonades I could buy.
Yeah, but it was
Awful.
It was brought to you by Mike's Hard Lemonade, so it was basically just Mike's Hard just dumped into a cup.
It was
of
Mike
ice.
Hard's and a flavored Smirnoff vodka.
See, that's brutal.
It was tough. It was really tough.
So that's not really the way to do it. I get it. Maybe they're trying to keep it a little bit more under wraps. It's basically in the fairgrounds, whatever. I get it, but have some cocktails available. But nonetheless, I didn't really know what to expect going to this reggae concert.
We're gonna go see Iration, which was my most excited person I was gonna go see, which we caught a glimpse of.
We caught a good 45.
Yeah, maybe I was just drunk at that point, not realizing what was going on.
We caught a good 45.
And Revolution was the other one.
Yeah, there was the Expendables and Pacifier there as well. They just started at an ungodly early hour. Like
5 o'clock.
You know what though? Here's the thing: if we're gonna start a concert at 5 o'clock, I would have sworn that they would have done it a little bit differently with the set times.
Yeah, why would they to give a break? We didn't see Pacifier or the other person, whatever.
Yeah,
and we barely, we caught 45 of Iration, and then we caught the full set of Revolution. Huge break in the middle.
it was a good 20-minute intermission.
I thought it was longer than that. I could have said it was like 40.
Yeah, I looked at the clock. It did feel like forever because what are you supposed to do during that intermission
You're just
time?
hanging out.
You're not going to go slam cocktails. That's not available.
Nothing you can do about that. People left the venue, came back with a turkey leg because it's the Orange County Fairgrounds, which that place is a shithole.
I hate it.
I used to love the fairgrounds, and it's just so slammed now.
That place ain't for me.
It's just not the place. But anyways,
Never has been, never will be.
Back to the concert.
Boy, oh boy.
I had a good time with it. I thought I knew more music from the band. Like I thought we listened to a good amount of it, and I think what it was. I think we listened to a lot of Iration, and not much Revolution. And
Yeah, I listened to a lot of Revolution though. I'm a little. I mean, I listen to reggae every day, so I'm a little bit more in tune with it. I keep up with it.
You do,
yeah.
So were you bummed about missing Pacifier and stuff?
Not tremendously. No, I know a few of their songs. I know a few of the songs of Expendables. I was a little bit bummed, but it was not hurting me one bit because also I necessarily don't want to be at a concert for 4 hours or 5 hours of reggae for reggae music. I want to get in there. I want to do 3 hours. I want to have a good time, maximize the 3 hours, see the people who I want to see, which is Iration and Revolution.
Right.
Which were great, by the way. I thought they actually performed and exceeded my expectations.
For sure. They were great.
Wildly talented. Mm-hmm. They brought in, I actually didn't realize how many people are involved in a reggae band.
Oh, it's a huge band. It's a band.
They had like 7 or 8 people up on stage, like trombone, trumpet, saxophone, percussion, live singer, guitarist, bass. Like, dude, they had the full thing.
Maracas.
And then they had...
There's one guy always playing the weird instrument.
Yeah.
The maraca, piano tie.
Yeah. The maracas, I think.
Yeah, the maracas and then the tambourine.
Yes, there we go. The tambourine.
Yeah, the big tambourine guy in the back.
Right.
Yeah, the bands played great. It's just like, I don't know. It just didn't have the juice for me.
Yeah.
By like halfway through Revolution set, I was like, I'm good.
Yeah. I could totally see that. I mean, I kind of was a little bit, but I was so in. I thought Revolution came on, and their production and their show and the way that they like worked the crowd. I knew like a lot of their songs. So I like sang every song. I knew every
which
single
is great.
song.
And I was really happy that I was hoping I knew more, and then shame on me. Maybe I need to do a bit more research before going into something like that.
Sure.
I'm also just not a huge music guy. Tough take, but I'm just not. I know. I'm more of a podcast guy. Every time I'm listening to something on my free time, it's always a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a rap guy, but I thought left a little meat on the bone for me.
Yeah, I did think that the one part of the show that was extraordinary was the guitar situation.
Yeah, so
that was unbelievable.
The band's doing the fake encore. So Revolution leaves the venue
at like 9:30.
9:30. Clearly have 30 minutes left in the venue. We know the tickets, we know the times. So we know they're coming back, and everyone's doing encore. Like that to me is so corny. Like,
yeah,
do a true encore. 10 o'clock it's done.
Yeah.
And you come back out for one or two more.
Right.
And you take the L on the price because they get dinged for that. They get penalized. Some places penalize you. So they did the encore where we cheer them back on the stage.
And it's like, yeah, they're coming back on. And they played like the full, guitar situation. They did another song. Like they did like 20 more minutes of performing.
So then they come out, and it's him and his main guitarist, the lead singer and the main guitarist. And the dude, these guys proceed to rip the guitar open.
Yeah, and it was jaw dropping.
It was unreal how talented these two guys were. It was like Guitar Hero-esque playing. Like notes and watching this man's fingers work was crazy. They hammer it. They do a great job. They proceed to leave again.
Right, and they come out and play one more
and
song.
Then we do a double encore.
Right.
And at that point, when the double encore hit, I was done. I'm like, no way, you just made me cheer for a double encore. But I was more in space. The booze got me feeling loose, and I was more preoccupied by everything else around me. And then
you're a big people watching guy.
Oh my god, you're locked in.
Yeah, you're really.
I build stories. I wonder about things.
Right.
So the one thing I couldn't stop looking at was there was a gentleman, late 50s, early 50s.
Sure, we can call it something around there.
Dating a very young woman, like maybe 21, maybe 20, maybe 20.
He was running to go get some snacks.
And, people are like, well, how do you know he's not his dad? And I'm like, well, his hand was basically down their pants. So there was that. So that was a good indication for me to feel comfortable of assuming this guy wasn't her dad. And, I'm just building this story out in my head. Like, one, as a dude who's in his 30s, I couldn't imagine dating somebody 19 right now.
Seems a little bit weird. Seems a little bit strange.
Weird, 100%. Take that away. It's weird, gross, all of it. But also, we're in such different parts of our lives.
Yes, that's the biggest part. That's the biggest part.
I have nothing to give you, and you have nothing to give me. And you also know it's like a really scummy thing to do. And so anyways, I'm like, this guy's got to pretend like her friends are there. I'm just staring at them. The concert's happening, and I'm in this person's life. And her friends are there. Their boyfriends are there. And this guy is one row behind them, just like kind of hanging out and stalking. And the girl would go back and forth between her friends and this dude. And
that was a weird dynamic. Why don't you just join him?
Well, because then he doesn't want to be weird. Like maybe the other girls don't feel comfortable, or he doesn't who knows? It was such a weird situation to be like, yeah, let me bring my older boyfriend to a concert with these people who clearly want nothing to do with this dude. And I just thought this guy pulled the funniest move. In that moment, you're trying to be cool. You gotta be young. You gotta hang out. You gotta be chill with things. You might have to grab underage drinks. You gotta go the extra mile. I assume if you're that dude.
Right. Everything's on the table.
This guy comes back with a fucking sharing size of a popcorn. And I thought it was just such a dad move. I'm like, you're trying to be cool and young, and you come back with shared popcorn for the group?
Not
like,
the move.
That to me just screams dad.
Not the move. Not the move.
And then
how about grabbing like 6 tall cans?
That's what you need to do.
Right.
Come back with beer for everybody.
Not snacks.
Not snacks. Not kettle corn. Buy a bag.
Didn't he come back with another snack?
Then he
as
leaves
well?
again and comes back with a fucking churro. I'm like, what are we doing, my guy? You're hanging out with a 20-year-old. Like, could you imagine if one of our friends, like, we'd be hyped if one of our friends left and got like popcorn? But like, that's a dad move.
Yeah, that's
like, hey guys, you hungry? Here's some popcorn.
That's a you move. You would do that for the group.
Yeah, but I'm, like, they're my same age, but I would like that'd be like doing it for my daughter,
right?
And her friends, and they'd be hyped. If you're a dad, you're hyped, but like you're a 22-year-old trying to hang out with your girlfriend, look cool.
You're looking for some drinks.
You're looking for some drinks, not popcorn handouts.
It's also like 8:00 at night. Let's get the drinks flowing,
right? And I don't think they were 20 because none of them had drinks in their hands. They were sure smoking though. They were sure enjoying that.
Oh well, there you go. Maybe that's where the snacks come in.
Probably, but still, it was just. I was just so preoccupied by.
It's weird. I love it, dude. You know, you get preoccupied by this, and you just tell me all this the crazy stories that are going on elsewhere, and I'm, it's a.
And you're just in your own.
It's a whole other event.
You're actually there, and I'm nowhere there, and and that was that was the highlights from the weekend here. But like one thing I really wanted to talk to you about, and we're running, a little short on time. This has been flying through it. I really want to get into your college career because I feel like when I lived with you, when you were a D1 athlete in one of the best college programs at the time and to date for volleyball. I mean,
sure.
You guys won back-to-back natties when you were coaching one.
Yeah.
You had shots at other ones where you were very close. Mm-hmm. You guys had
after the first couple of years, we didn't have that great of a run. We were kind of middle of the league, middle table, however you want to put it. Just kind of neutral at 500, but still a very good program as far as reputation. Winning titles and all that kind of stuff. We haven't won one in a while. Don't quote me on the year, but 71 or something like that was the last title that we had. So it's been a long time.
But you guys produced some really amazing volleyball players.
Some very high-quality athletes, for sure. There's no doubt about that. Lots of Olympians, people that go on to play on the AVP.
Like, that's what currently you have, like, one of the top AVP players who I partied with in college.
Yeah.
I mean, there's multiple people on the Olympic team that we partied with that were younger us on the team.
Yeah.
Like, some of the best athletes I've ever seen. And it's crazy to think, my best friend... I'm obsessed with sport. That's all I care about. But when we were in that moment, or I was in that moment with you, maybe it was just I some jealousy for sure. But mainly didn't ask you a lot about it. You come home and you wouldn't love to talk about it.
Yeah.
A lot. There'd be moments where I get you going. But for the most part, it was more like, hey, practice was good. What's up with you?
Right.
Let's play some FIFA and have some drinks going.
And I'm also a little bit, we could talk about it now. It's great. We can dive into it. I'm more than happy to. And I feel like I'm always more willing to, because when I was at the time, that's just like, it just consumed me, like all I was doing.
You had 2 practices a day during the summer. You would wake up at 6 a.m, basically, maybe earlier.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I'll
morning practice.
I'll do weights. Maybe some video, serving like in the winter, it got tough. The winter was brutal when school wasn't going on, where we were doing double days. And that's a lot, dude. That's a lot for volleyball. It's a lot of jumps. It's a lot of just like, ground and pound. And I'm just like, it's crazy that you're just like, you feel that at 20, 21 years old. Guys are doing like double days on 35. It's just like, it's kind of a different level of endurance and just, I don't know, just raw strength basically. And just you build your body up to just, endure such pounding. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of it was, I didn't want to share a ton of it because you're just living in it. That's all you're doing. You're thinking about it. You're grinding with classes, and I'm, taking some strenuous courses and it's kind of difficult. And I'm coming home and studying, going to the library, and then I'm going to like weights and training, and it's a whole thing. And then we're trying to like, the last thing I want to do is then like try to just be in it again once I come home. And so maybe I did brush you off a little bit here and there, but
I wouldn't say it's a brush off. I just think I mainly chalked it up to you weren't playing, which was new for you.
Yeah.
Like you started volleyball in high school, freshman year. Some of these guys have been playing volleyball since they were younger.
It's not the most uncommon age to come into the sport, though, because it does require some form of height and athleticism. And like, normally by like the age of 10, you can't like jump and touch over like 7 feet. It's not really a thing.
Right.
So like U10 volleyball is very, very limited. I would say like U14 is probably like the time when a lot of kids start getting more involved with it.
It's funny because U14, isn't that when like Costa Rica and like the South...
Puerto Rico, yes,
Rico,
dude.
yes.
They're coming in and they are thumping everyone. Oh, yeah,
they come out and they just ball out because they're tall at that age. They're super athletic.
Dude,
all they do is jump on the beach and they hang out.
And they got cannons for arms, and it's just ridiculous. Yeah, they pretty much win like 12s, 13s, 14s, 15s, and 16s.
And
they're
then
up there.
then we all catch up and we start balling out on them.
The late growth spurts, baby. But sure, dude, we could dive into a little bit, but I think maybe a little bit I was a little bit discouraged at times. You're always competing. You always want to play. You always want to be on the floor. And so you feel like you're always giving it your all. At least that was my intent, always trying to be there. And maybe I should have like done other things off the court that would have helped me a little bit more. But when I was in the gym, I was there to compete and play well.
And you did do, freshman and freshman year, you got mono really bad, right?
Yeah, pneumonia.
You had pneumonia extremely bad. You were extremely sick.
That screwed me up for about 2 months, actually.
And then kind of almost hurts your position. You were like maybe jockeying for some time at that moment.
A little bit. Yeah, I was. It was kind of a shock for me because when I came in, actually, I don't know if you knew this, but I was like nervous going to this college. Like,
I knew.
Very nervous.
I knew you were nervous. I knew you were checking out USC and Long Beach were your two main options.
Yeah.
And it was crazy to me you didn't go USC because I remember you talking about like college visits and going to parties at USC and going like you walked into the weightlifting facility and you were drinking out of like Gatorade fountains and you had free muscle milk.
Yeah.
And like everything was A+, and you would have been at USC.
Every single they had a squat rack with your name on it with an iPad, and it's got your lifts and your weights and all of your stuff and like everything to help.
It's an A+++ facility.
You cannot
do better for volleyball.
Right. Exactly.
It's physically impossible.
It's also just $65,000 a year. So thank goodness I didn't. Now having the student loans, thank goodness I did not go there. It would be overwhelming.
Totally.
But I was very nervous, like stepping into a Division I school because for club I didn't really play that much either. I was kind of like the third outside. I was kind of a little bit more underdeveloped. I played for a great club team. So again, I didn't really get to compete a whole lot. We played at Laguna Hills. Maybe not the most established and highly sought after volleyball program in high school, but we did play against some good competition, but we'd always get waxed by these teams. And
it wasn't even close.
There was a lot of doubt in my mind whether I was going to be good or not, good enough or not, athletic enough or not. And quite frankly, it's skilled. Like it was a wide gap in the skill department because I played middle blocker in my freshman year and part of my sophomore year, and I didn't make that transition over to outside hitter until I was midway through my sophomore year in high school, which is in the springtime. And I didn't play club volleyball until I was the springtime in 16s. So that in itself is very late. Normally when you play volleyball, you come in at like 14 years old, you play high school and you play club.
Right.
And it's like right off the bat and you're getting all those reps. And so when I'm coming in for the back end of my 16th year, which these guys are now really good, These guys are coming
They've
in.
been playing. You're behind.
We're coming in and trying to win I can't believe I actually made the ones team at Balboa. Very shocked. Maybe because I was just a little bit more athletic at the time, and they saw some potential.
You were also dunking in 8th grade. You were extremely athletic.
Sure, but
you're hardworking.
It's just the skill that these guys possess, though, that was just really incredible. And I remember showing up for tryouts, like, oh my God, I am so out of my element right now. The fact that I even just went was kind of crazy. I got invited. We're going way off tangent here.
No, I think this is good. I think this is great. This is where I wanted to be with it.
Okay.
We're building a storyline because, I think it's just crazy that you did do these college visits and I was, deep into my own relationship in my own world when this stuff was happening. To you, even though we were best friends and we were extremely close, I also was jealous. It's the fact of it. I my best friend's playing a sport in college was never going to happen for me. And so naturally I would want to ask you about it, and I would. I was always happy for you, but of course there's
well, let's calm it down here. Maybe you just needed some goalie action. Maybe you needed to be an NHL goalie.
Probably needed to be an NHL goalie. He wasn't playing the right sports, or play golf and at an early age, and maybe make a team that way if I had those reps. But
clay shooting, baby.
Clay shooting for sure. I could probably be in the Olympic team right now. Clay shooting.
You got that dead eye, son.
You get me on a shotgun and some clays. I'm taking those things out.
Yeah, dude. So I was. Again, did not play a whole lot in club.
Right.
Not great in high school. I get a ton of sets, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Did a bunch of training in the summer. Did weightlifting and all this stuff with Coach Pollock. Shout out. He did a ton of work with me, but did 2 or 3 workouts a week. He would help me get my body ready and do sand workouts and do weightlifting and do all this sort of stuff because I just didn't think I was going to be good enough. I just was going to not be able to compete, and I wanted to be able to compete. So that was part of it as well. But it was a little bit of a shock when I came into the gym and started turning a few heads my freshman year. Now, we had some incredible outside hitters.
One's on the AVP.
Incredible. 3 or 4 time Defensive Player of the Year, Taylor Crabb, 1 National Player of the Year. I mean, just a truly...
Dumb special.
Yeah, a truly, truly gifted athlete that's 6'1", maybe 6'1".
Jumps out of the gym.
Yeah, a 44-inch vert, an unbelievable volleyball IQ, and a great arm. Didn't hit the crap out of the ball.
But you hit any angle you want.
Crafty, super smart, just extremely athletic and fast. And I just remember a couple of games. One in particular at UCLA, I'm going to flub the numbers, but you get the gist of it. He got 37 sets and had 21 kills and 0 errors against UCLA.
What's an average, a good number for 31 sets kill ratio?
So if you're hitting, it's kind of like baseball. If you're hitting 300, right, that is a great number if you're hitting 300. So hitting 300, let's make it very easy. If you get 10 sets,
3 of them need to be kills.
And you get 4 kills,
4,
and you get 1 error, that's 300. If you get blocked or if you hit a ball out of bounds, that counts as a minus to your kill. It works in negative fashion. So if you hit 300 and you put a ball away and you score 3 out of 10 times, and you factor in the errors, that is a great hitting percentage. And this guy,
so he just absolutely balled out.
And he hit with 37 sets and you get 21 kills, that's you're hitting 580 or 600 and you're hit perfection essentially. And he got everyone else had 12 sets. I mean, everyone knows the ball's going to him, to Taylor.
No real options at the moment.
Right. He's just got
so hot.
He's got 4 well-formed hands in front of his face, and he's doing whatever he wants to the block and to the ball. So that was just incredible. He obviously had the OH1 just locked in. Dalton Ammerman was great. I mean, you can go on and on here, but stepping onto the court at 19, 18 years old with 2.5 years of good volleyball experience, it's not a whole lot to really hang your hat on. So I was nervous. And so the fact that I was actually competing and holding my own and doing all right, the game was just moving at an unbelievably fast rate. It was ridiculous. ridiculous how fast the game is moving.
Was it like that? Because you hear that, like, you know, every time you step into a new level, the game feels faster. Was volleyball at that moment just ridiculously fast?
Yeah, it was.
It looks fast.
It's overwhelming.
Like how you don't just like lob in high school, you know, where the level we played, you lob a outside set.
Right, so you don't have to be perfect as a setter. The hitter can come in there and clean up some sets a little bit.
No, these boys are rocketing balls to the pins.
Yeah,
like net to end net to end net. There, and the setters are very deceptive. Like the guys are. How tall is like an average blocker in your division? Middle.
Middle blocker, I would say probably average size is like 6'7". You know,
huge.
There's some guys that
it's like basketball sized players out there.
Yeah, for sure.
And pretty athletic.
Oh yeah, pretty athletic. There's some guys that are 7 feet, but again, with what you gain in height, you might lose a little bit in lateral movement, which is huge as a middle. So a good height and a good size middle is anywhere in the range from 6'7" to 6'10". Is like a pretty good.
And if they can get from side to side very quickly, they're very effective.
Right, exactly.
And
then a lot of the opposites that you're going up against, those guys are all 6'7" for sure, like good sized ones. And these guys are jumping 40 inches. 6'7".
So you got a bunch of really athletic dudes who get breaks in between each point.
And you get to max jump every single time.
Every time.
Because a point lasts 15 seconds.
Yeah, in men's volleyball, there's like not much rallies. It's like, oh, we had to send a free ball over, you might as well count it as a point.
For sure. Because the game's so fast.
So fast. And it's a fun sport to watch. And it's crazy to me that, you know, you were so good at so many sports when I met you. You were great at baseball, even though you dropped baseball off. You were amazing at basketball. Football, there was a time where you were going to be a starting free safety for varsity before you broke your thumb.
It was that or maybe like wide receiver, but...
You would have started on varsity as a sophomore if you didn't hurt your thumb.
I don't know.
You would have gotten reps.
Brody Marino had some rep. He was locked in for that.
That is true.
For that starting spot.
You were getting reps. You were getting looks.
Yeah, I was getting some looks.
You would have played.
I was getting some looks. Let's be honest, football was never really my calling.
No, but
didn't love it at the time. Wish I was more about it now, but
right. I mean, well, now we have the anger. Now you got something to fight for. It just, you know, it was just funny that volleyball came out of nowhere for you. So when you were doing, you know, this college day in day out of college, like how would you keep yourself motivated? Because I just, you know. It must have been demoralizing to see your roommate who was sleeping in the...
Yeah, it was tough, dude.
11 or 12 every day.
Really tough.
And like...
I will have to say, it's not what it would have been. I wouldn't have traded it for anything in the world, but it would have been way easier if I had a roommate that was on the same schedule as me.
Really?
Yeah. Relatively somewhat close.
Was it really that difficult?
Well, no, it wasn't, because you were never ever a burden, ever. You would like play video games and you were hanging out and you were chilling. I'm trying to fall asleep. I would much rather be hanging out playing video games.
Right.
And doing all that stuff. But I got practice at 7 a.m.
Right.
So I got to go to bed at
and it's not
midnight.
like you're doing a light practice. You got to get going.
It's a good 3-hour grind and then weights and then class after that.
Right.
And so you got to get at least 6. Got to get at least 6.
6 back then would get you through.
Yeah, I would never even really get 6, hardly no, ever.
There was many nights we were staying up pretty late.
2, 3, yeah. You know,
a lot of FIFA
easy.
being played.
Easy. And so that was the tough part. The motivation is difficult, and I think the one thing that did keep you more motivated, it didn't happen. It was more of like a breaking point. You know, it was one of those moments where it's like second year. You know, we kind of got like shafted after our first year. We didn't make it to the conference finals, the NCAA tournament. I mean, even though we beat UCI in our conference tournament, that was kind of a tough situation. And then that large bid went to them. Granted, they did beat us twice during the regular season. So it's really, you know, up to the committee. We could have beat them once and, you know, swayed it more in our favor, whatever. But I think more of it is having been there and then knowing that you are not going to get another shot at doing something great. It's more of the fear of regret for myself. That's
That
where
kept you in it.
that's why yeah. It was the fear of letting maybe something slip and letting something go, which did end up happening a little bit. But at least my senior year, I did feel like, and my whole redshirt year, I'm lifting 4 times a week. I'm doing a bunch of stretching.
Yeah,
and
by
stuff,
your
and
sophomore year, I think when we left our apartment after our sophomore year, going into your junior year.
we were still there junior year,
Were we?
3rd year. Yep.
We've lived there. Because you went freshman year dorms, sophomore, junior year. So your last 2 years, your redshirt year and your senior year.
Yeah. That was game time.
That was when you stepped it up.
For sure. And that was like, what am I missing? What am I doing wrong? And I had a little bit of a check, and, there was definitely more of there was a push from other people in the house too. Matt Butler being one of them for sure, of like, dude, we're not doing enough. We're just not doing enough. There's plenty of people out there that are doing way more. We got to step our game up. I want to be on the court. You want to be on the court. He was trying to change positions. It was one of those things where you just really had to kind of click into something that, even though you didn't want to do it, you had to just still be motivated and all in to just like go out there and try to find 1%, a 0.5% better. And like, I know it's very typical for everyone to say, but you got to find some way to push the needle a little bit. It's hard.
Got red line a bit. And I think, you moving to that house with other people who were like-minded. Some of our other roommates were older our first couple of years. So, like, harder to keep them where they're already at. They were set in their ways, and they were pushing as hard as they possibly could already. And
they were both captains of the team as well. So, like, they were certainly leaders, and they were doing everything within their, rights and lives for the team. And maybe
you just were in the right headspace. And then our other roommates at the time weren't going to push it.
A lot of it is I just wish that maybe I matured a little bit sooner and just realized that this ain't forever, and I think I kind of realized that, and it was potentially a little bit too late, but at the same time, I mean, once I did realize it, I was all in to go and try to achieve something great.
I don't know if it would have been too late, because I don't know if you've ever gotten your moment over Dalton. Dalton was the other outside hitter. I think
I would have been more ready potentially, though.
For sure. You would have been maybe more ready when that position did open up, but it felt like after that opened up, it was... Okay, well, from my perspective, we can get into this topic now. From my perspective, from watching you and hearing you talk, maybe biased too, I feel like you got shafted a bit. You chose, I don't know if you were asked or not, to redshirt your junior year.
It was, my understanding of it was very mutual. It was a situation where it would work out for my academics, one, and I also said that to him and had that talk with my counselor and everything. I needed a 5th year to finish all my credits. I could do like a couple of fluff courses, whatever, to kind of get those credits up during the fall, during the redshirt year, but also get a couple of things squared away so that I can then graduate in 5 years, taking all these classes, have a minor, and have like a minor in a certain subject. But it was kind of mutual, because the fact of the matter was, if I played my 4th year, there was a few other outside hitters that I'd be battling with and competing with, and both of them were seniors. And I was in the coach's eyes, and the way they were looking at it, very equal with those guys. And it could have been a rotating roster. It could have been something that didn't work out for myself, didn't work out for them. So the way they pitched it as well is that, if you redshirt this year, you're going to be able to have a much, much better opportunity to get onto the court. If you do X, Y, and Z, better. You need to be able to pass a little bit better. You need to be able to kill the ball. That was the two things. And so I dedicated a lot of that year to, one, lifting and getting stronger, but getting a ton of passing reps. Ton of passing reps.
And how does that look? Do you go and a coach is there and they're helping you with that?
No, so a lot of that actually is kind of just down to you a little bit. because you're only allotted a certain amount of hours with coaches during the off season, and all those hours are all built around individuals, team training, and weights. I forget the number. I believe it's like 11 hours a week or 8 hours a week.
So it's on you. So a teammate has to come. You get to set up the net.
We got to set up the net. We got to go get reps. We got to go serve each other. We could use like a serving machine, but I needed like float serve reps. So I had to have someone like hit serves at me. I had to hit serves at them. It worked out because it was very mutual, because I had Matt Butler that was changing positions at the time. And so we just float serve each other for like an hour. Just get tons and tons and tons and tons of reps. So after weights, or like whatever, before class, and it happened 3-4 times a week. We'd probably do that. It would maybe fall off here or there a little bit, but for the most part, it was on average 3 times a week, an extra 3 or 4 hours of service reps. Maybe go play some beach. That's another good way of doing it as well. Mm-hmm. So no, it didn't really look like it. The only thing that would show up is in practice and in the numbers. And of course, I can tell the coaches that I'm doing this stuff, but I just wanted to show in practice, and I feel like I was putting in the work, and I was going to get rewarded at that time.
Yeah, and I guess to me, I saw you put the effort in with your other teammates. I saw the talent level of which the other players were at your age, and I thought you should have started and played 95% of the games. And, didn't really happen like that your junior year. As much as I thought you should have gotten a shake at it, maybe you feel differently.
Yeah, I'm sure there was certain I believe there was certain opportunities junior year. Maybe I could have gotten some more looks. I felt like there was a couple of times where I got subbed into a match. I'd stay in the match, and we were down 0-2, and I'd come in and we'd win 3-2. That's happened a couple times in my college career,
which is crazy.
Yeah, we're down 0-2, and then I get subbed in, and I'd finish the game, and we'd win 3-2, and then not. I mean, I get it, because there's both sides of this. You got to, like, as a coaching staff, and now being on the side of it, you got to stick with the guys that you might believe is the best fit, is the best chance to win. That guy had an off night. And then in this situation, I came in, I did my job, I upgraded, I helped us get a win in a situation that one player may or may not have been performing, and I helped us grab a W. But then guess what? I didn't really earn that spot. I'm back into the 3.
Which
and
to
then
me
those guys,
is so infuriating. Because as someone who felt like he was shafted his whole sports career, and maybe, you look outward, you're pointing a finger at somebody and there's 3 pointing back to you. I feel like I've felt that before, where I've come into a game and the momentum switches, and then the next game it was like it never happened.
Right. And it's frustrating. It's very, very frustrating.
Yeah, it's like, how do you not see it's physical. There was one change made. I came in the game, and we won the game. It's
black and white, yeah.
So how are you not seeing that?
Sure.
And it wasn't that our serving became exponentially better to the point where it changed our whole game. And there was one clear thing that happened here.
Right.
I came to the game, baskets started being scored. We started, basketball-wise, we started scoring
We caused turnovers, momentum shift, better vibe of the team. I
just don't understand how coaches don't get that. To me, it's like, even if this player, let's just say, you're not the quality of the other players, right? Let's just say that's not the case, but let's just say that was. Mm-hmm. And they come in with a last-ditch hope that you come in and change momentum, and you do. To me, you deserve the start. You deserve a shot, because the other guys couldn't get the job done, and they've had shots, and they've had chances. So why wouldn't you get that same leash? And it feels like coaches have shorter leashes with people. And it felt like, to me, and this is just me, Knipe had like a choke leash on you.
It's hard to comment on that, because again, it's how he felt and he perceived the game and how he wanted he wanted the team to play.
And he's okay. By the way, Knipe's also like one of the greatest coaches of all time. Coached the Olympic team.
He won a natty champ for LB. He was on the Olympic team. He coached the Olympic team.
Dude knows volleyball. He's not a scrub. He's not.
He knows how to put together a winning culture. I mean, there's, there's tons and tons of accolades that he's able to do. He runs tons of camps and motivational speaking, and like he runs classes on culture, and like people like coaches like show up to these like seminars that he's putting on, and like
he knows how to coach.
He knows what he's doing. And so I don't know. I feel like I got an interesting perspective because I got to coach under him as well. So I got to see what he was about firsthand, how he ran the program, how the program was really about. And you don't really know it until you're like seeing all of the cultures and nuggets and stuff that you're like placing along the way. Like, come on guys, like here's a little bit of nibble. You guys need to come this way. This is why we're doing this. And like, I got to see all of that unfold. But I guess bottom line is I do think maybe it was a certain situation where I felt selfishly that I deserved more playing time, but maybe at the same time that I wasn't fit into the picture at that time. I didn't earn it. He didn't think that I was going to be able to go in there and compete and, game in, game out and bring us wins and ultimately bring a championship that time.
Do you think that he knew that team maybe was never going to win a chip and he wasn't going to like let you run the roost maybe, or get your time when he could be developing players that were underneath you who maybe could have used those reps and it would have been more valuable for them to get those reps at a later date? I mean, that's also things coaches do all the time.
Totally. I mean, there's some part of it, and there's like a very famous saying. It's like, you never need to worry about the guy in front of you. You need to worry about the guy behind you. Right? When you're trying to like compete for a spot and keep a spot, right? You shouldn't be looking ahead. You should be looking behind you and like what you could be doing to better yourself, to then just separate yourself and never be touched. So even when you are a senior and you're kind of having like a little bit of like your team's maybe having a slightly shaky season, but you're still whatever, second or third, they're not going to turn to the other guy and look younger to try to get them reps and develop them. And so in my situation, when I was a senior, we were very, very much in the hunt for a natty champ.
Very much in the hunt.
And so at that
senior
time,
year, you guys were balling.
Yeah, we made it to the semifinals in the NCAA championship. And at that point, you're obviously trying to you're trying to win a championship. So you don't care if you're worried about the younger guys or the older guys. You're trying to find.
When you're in the hunt, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're not in the hunt, like maybe a coach can see like our blocking isn't as good as it needs to be. I don't know for a fact. Or your setting isn't going to be there. Or your serving isn't there. And he's like, clearly the people in our division are much better than us. Maybe there was some of that. I don't know for a fact.
To be honest with you, they're trying to recruit at that time. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean.
They're not really trying to develop the younger.
At that point, they're like, we need to bring bodies.
Yeah.
Because we don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
And, and unfortunate.
That's the realistic thing. Whatever we got right now, it ain't working. We're not winning with it.
Because I don't even remember who was on that team. I know Curtis and I know you, and that's about it.
Just
Bjorn.
It's just we just did not have at that time. Just again, some of the more athletic, skilled. I mean, there was plenty of teams out there that were better than us. Plenty of teams. We can name 8, 9, and we didn't really stand a chance. And so again, that's that famous saying: you got to worry about the person behind you. Because then we got Josh, TJ, and Kyle, and they all came in. And they immediately...
All 3 on the Olympic team.
All 3 on the Olympic team right now.
One's maybe the best player on the Olympic team.
Yeah, and one is also arguably a top 5 outside hitter in the world. Maybe top 3 right now.
Yeah.
Maybe top 2.
And, that's TJ. The setter is unreal. Mm-hmm. Undersized, but hands of a flowy legend.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I just found it. I don't think this will be the last time we talk about your college experience, just because it's such a unique perspective you have. It's just a different sport. Yeah, it's not your D1 like, baseball or football or basketball,
Sure.
but it's still D1, and the rigorous training and things you guys were asked to do was pretty insane. I do want to ask you, one thing before we hit our top 3 worst here.
Lay it on me.
There's a college you guys play a lot, BYU, which maybe have the most rabid fans in volley.
Yeah, dude, it's wild. Wild.
What was it like to travel to BYU and to play? Because I think it was your senior year, which was, I think I could be wrong, you played.
Oh, yeah.
BYU. You didn't start, from what I remember.
Well, one year I had to come in, actually.
I think it was your senior year.
Well, it was Dalton Ammerman actually rolled an ankle, and I had to get subbed in like 5 points into the game and played like a whole match there.
Was it
my sophomore year?
Oh, yeah, sophomore year. I'm not talking about your sophomore year because I was clearly in the garage watching.
I believe this was senior year.
Yeah, senior year then is what I remember.
You're in the garage.
Losing the start to Bjorn or something.
Well, I had back spasms.
Right.
I had back spasms, and I had tried playing through that. I got to look at... I thought I played the whole time. You did play. Yeah.
I don't know if you got subbed in or if you started.
This was also one of the crazy... That's when I was starting. When I was starting, and that was one of the most frustrating things. I finally ended up making my way onto the starting team about 10 games into the season my senior year, after talking with Knipe and sitting him down, having like a player to coach meeting, which I encourage, if there's any players listening right now, just go talk to your coach. He's not out to get you. He wants you to do well and wants the team to do well. So figure out what you need to do better to make it on the court.
Be open to the criticism that's going to come, because when you ask for it, it's coming.
Right, exactly.
And you can't just be like, oh, it's not real. Because no matter what he says,
it's coming from somewhere and it's legitimized.
Well, even if you don't believe it, like if he's like, Andrew, you don't jump high enough, and you're like, I have the highest jump on the team, like he's not seeing that. So you're going to have to change his mind.
Sure.
So whatever he's telling you is the new thing you're doing.
Exactly. So it's a good thing. But anyways, it was really, really frustrating for that situation because, I finally make my way onto the starting team, and I got a bum knee and I've got back spasms, and it's just, I don't know. Have you ever had some back spasms, bro?
Maybe when I was in high school, like debilitating, but like never.
Like crippling. Like you can't jump.
Right.
Like, I know people sit out. Like I couldn't breathe. Like it's tough. It's also at 4,000 or 5,000 feet of elevation. BYU is,
which we know is no joke anymore.
Yeah, it's a different game. The ball actually sails and travels differently. It floats differently. It's a whole different thing. As the air is thinner up there, it moves less. It doesn't dip as much. You have to like track the ball differently. But it was very frustrating because I had that opportunity to go play in a wild, wild, wild atmosphere. We're going in to paint the picture a little bit. We're like breaking like the attendance records, like 5,000, 800. This place doesn't even hold that many people, but it is surrounding, and it's all concrete, and it is extremely loud in there. But we're going for a morning servant pass at like 10 a.m., right? That's the typical thing. It's like a light practice. It's an hour, get a feel for the volleyball, get a feel for the court, get some reps in. It's like an hour, and people are lined up outside the gym at 10 a.m. to get seats for this.
That doesn't happen in volleyball. For people who don't know, you can always get a volleyball ticket.
Oh yeah,
like
for a 7 p.m. game, people were lined up, and it's not like 8, 12 people. It's like a couple hundred people are like waiting at the gate.
Was that, and in that moment, are you feeling like, oh yeah, it's game time, baby? Or the nerves start to flow in pretty heavy at that point?
Yeah. If there is a moment like a oh shit, we're here moment, it was like one of those. It was that moment where you're like stepping onto the court, like holy fuck, like, I can't believe there are people here coming here, one, to root for their team, but just here to just watch this volleyball. This is just kind of blowing my mind. Packed house. And you had to, it was so loud, you legitimately had to run over to the sideline because I could not hear the coach yell. The volleyball court ain't that big. It's 30 by 30.
No, you can hear people yelling. I can hear Knipe yelling at you guys at times.
Yeah, it's 15 feet from the middle of the court to the sideline. I could not hear. You can't hear the coach. It's that loud in there. And, you know, again, it's really funny, like the trash talk that they're like dishing out. But bottom line is that it's loud and it's thundering. You can't hear anything. And that was pretty electric playing in that atmosphere. People just going wild. That was one of the coolest things. And
you guys got the win.
Yeah, we came back. Night one, we lost in 5, actually.
I remember that.
It was a total grind. It was a total bummer. I gave like a crazy like pump up speech because we looked like really defeated going in like the 3rd and 4th set. But then came out night 2, and I believe we just won 3-0. I believe we swept them. But yeah, it was really fun going and playing those away matches. Another place again would be like Hawaii. Hawaii was an unbelievable place to play. Sold out. The Stan Sheriff Center, like 10,000 people.
Was
like
that
playing.
more fun? The BYU
was more fun. Hawaii was it was certainly more hostile. Yeah, people are diehard Rainbow Warrior fans over there. I
think their thing.
They go nuts for volleyball. They go nuts because it's big over there.
Yeah,
it's extremely loud. But you don't feel the crowd as much because they're not on top of you. Like you're going back to serve and like people you're in arm's reach, you know, at BYU.
And they're screaming heinous things at you, I'm sure.
Well, not so much as BYU.
Oh, I guess you're right. I guess you're right. It is a religious school.
Yes. And so that was a little bit of the comical part. But the fact of the matter is that the BYU feeling is that they're like literally on top of you. It doesn't really go out and up. It just goes out a little bit, but then there's mainly just up and it's like on top of the court. So that is like the crazy part. Everything is concrete. The Stan Sheriff has a massive ceiling. It goes up and out the whole way. So like it's massive, it's big, but you don't feel it as much as you do at BYU. But still, just a different situation when you're playing in front of those crowds. I'm sure the Pyramid felt like that at some points as well. You know, we get 3,000-4,000 people, I think, at some games. Mm-hmm. You know, most of the time we had like 2,000 people, but you know, we had a bunch of people play.
Some games are big, especially when you guys got closer to playoffs.
Oh yeah.
What was like favorite moment in that college career of yours?
Oh, dude, it's got to be my last point that I ever played in the Pyramid. Got to be that one. We're playing Hawaii. We're hosting the conference tournament because we won the regular season my senior year. We're up. We got match point, and I passed the ball. They served me down the line. I passed the ball to the 10-foot line, and Josh sets me medium system, and I get the match-winning kill. And we won championship point for the conference championship, and that was unreal. So the last point that I ever played in the Pyramid was the match winning point.
That's a good way to end it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I scored the last point for the MPSF because, well, they still have the MPSF now, but before it kind of cut in half and then split to the Big West. MPSF was a stacked conference. Now Long Beach is in the Big West, but
with who's else in the Big West?
UCI, Northridge, Hawaii, San Diego.
Not BYU?
Nope, they're in the MPSF.
Okay.
But you could still play like out of conference games.
Yeah.
UCLA.
Got you.
Yeah, USC is still in the MPSF.
You know what team I used to hate watching you guys play was the, not Santa Barbara, but it was the college in Beverly Hills.
UCLA?
No, not Beverly Hills.
USC?
No. One of
Pepperdine.
those. Pepperdine.
Yeah, Pepperdine.
I hated Pepperdine.
Malibu, baby.
Yeah, I hated Pepperdine. I hated
Why?
their gym. Because they always beat you guys in the worst time.
Dude, you know what? That was the hardest gym to play in for me.
The gym was awful.
The whole stadium, the whole venue is all blue, white, and orange. And what's the color of the volleyball? Blue, white, and red. It just was a big blur the whole time. I could not.
And they were hostile.
Yeah.
They talked a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah, they did. And the gym was kind of quiet, too.
Quiet. And then they always beat you guys at the worst opportunity. One of the points, I don't know why, I just hated that school and that team. I remember Windish pancaked the ball.
Yes, dude, I remember this.
To win like the match for you guys. It was like
he came in and balled out and had like 14 digs in like 2 games.
I remember he came into the
unbelievable.
game and balled out. I don't know why I remember that so well because I remember you guys just losing to a team. I think you came in that game too.
I might have.
I think that's why I remember that as well.
It's a tough game to come into.
What moment in college, and this will be my last question before we go top 3 worst here. What moment in college for you when you were in the midst of it drove you craziest the most about me being your roommate? When you're in the midst of being a D1 athlete.
Oh, dude, it's the early wake-up calls and seeing you there. The amount of anger that I felt towards you in those moments. And like in the middle of winter too, like it's freezing as hell in the garage. It's cold. Yeah. We're like got the box fan rocking and rolling. AC is, you like it you're basically a polar bear.
Yeah.
In your second life, you're probably going to get rebirthed into a polar bear, dude.
For sure.
It's seeing you just like all cozied up. And I'm waking up at like 7:30 to go like, and I got to hit this alarm and got to go like, it's just a total grind. And so it's the grind where I may not want to do something, but then you got to go do it. Those are the moments. So
you're just like my roommate's
like,
either going to my roommate's going to skip school.
Right. And it was also after probably the fact that you were baiting me like one more FIFA game. And I'm like, bro, it's 12:45, dog. Like it's 1 a.m. Like I got to be up in 6 hours. Like I got to start whining. No. I'm like, okay. I can't say no to this, man. It's one more game. It's 15 minutes. But
oh man, that's great. I loved it, man.
Mainly that, I think.
I think it was just fun to, we'll jump into the Johnny Manziel doc maybe next week. We got some other stuff we wanted to talk about. But I just knew from last week when we were talking about, like, I just never really I don't remember your game-winning point versus Hawaii. I don't really remember talking to you about, like, what it was like and, the triumphs and the victories. Because it's like a bond. You're still bonding. Even though, like, it's not a top 3 sport, it's still... Like you were going to war with these guys. These guys were your teammates. For sure. Some of the closest guys you'll ever be with. So I just found it like, I don't know how we haven't talked about this yet. We're all into sports, and here next to me is a D1 athlete, and I haven't even asked him about it.
Yeah, it is fun, especially, I feel like when you're in it and you're fully immersed in it, it is like a lot of those things that matter. So
it's really cool just to reflect a little bit and hear more about it.
Sure, dude.
All right, buddy. Well, we're going to go on to our 3 worst here. 3 worst parts of a concert. Obviously, we eliminate the very obvious parts of what's the worst part of a concert. It's the crowds and parking. Like, clearly,
no doubt.
Clearly,
Lines.
those are that's obvious. Like, number 1, crowds, number 2, parking, whatever. So we eliminate that. So you got to be a little bit more creative. We're going to run through this list here because, we don't want this podcast to be too long on you guys. I'm going to go first here, buddy.
Yep.
Starting off for me, number 3 being booze selections at these places. A lot of these venues limit what you can drink because they're afraid of fights, and I'm sure that has happened. But that's not my problem. I want vodka and soda.
You want some booze, dude.
I want something like other than Bud Lights, like, and they're so expensive. Number 2, where venues only have a couple good seats.
Yeah.
The venue sucks and you can't see what's going on and you can't really hear what's going on. You might as well just chalk it. It's not going to be a good event. And number 1 for me is when the whole vibe is off at the concert.
Yeah. Okay.
So, like, if you're at a concert that's supposed to be like rap and everyone there is just like acting super hard and you constantly have to be on your 6 because people are being weird and crazy, like, that's just not a fun environment for me. So, like, if the vibe is off in a concert, that, like, it can't be worse than that.
Yeah. I've got no complaints with that list, buddy. That's a great list.
Thank you.
It's rock solid.
It felt solid.
All right, I got an honorable mention. I'm going to start it off here because it's not something that happens very often, but I do think it needs to be mentioned because I've had to have it a couple of times, very, very seldomly, though, is that the sound quality. The sound quality is bad.
Yeah.
Like what's going on? You're going there for a concert. You need the music
The sound
loud.
needs to be thumping.
You got to yeah, it's got to be loud. It's got to be a good, crisp quality. Everything's got to be in balance. If that's wrong, then I feel like the whole thing is just in shambles.
Right.
That's an honorable mention for me. Because it doesn't happen very often. My number 3 is, again, it's like the seat situation. It's like if you're locked into a certain seat, you got to pay like X amount of money. I get that, but it's like more of like, it's like when you got to stand, when you got to sit, like what's the right thing to do. I feel bad about like if I'm standing and people behind me are sitting, like they need to now stand up. I just hate that whole like juxtaposition of like what you need to be doing. I don't know. That's my number 3. My number 2 here is like I just really hate intermissions. Like the long drawn out intermissions, I just feel like are just the worst time. I get it. I know they have to do it. I feel like they need to have some sort of like, get a DJ up there, get something going on. Like, I understand that you got to set up a whole bunch of stuff, but if we're going for 20 minutes at an intermission, that's a good chunk of the 3 or 4 hours that you're there
for.
for.
Bring something out that's entertaining.
Let's bring something else out. Let's get us going a little bit here.
People are bringing out comedians for that 20 minutes to fill 20
minutes. And that's great.
I thought it was a great idea
That's
myself.
that's a 20-minute stand-up. That's a good stand-up session.
Yeah, it's a perfect,
I love that.
perfect amount.
That's a great call
awesome,
out.
buddy. Great top 3.
And hold on, rounding out my 1 here is I threw
honorable mention.
I threw in an honorable mention. My number 1 is very similar to yours with the whole vibe situation. It's just when people are acting very strange. It's like just the weirdo like interactions, and it's also when it primarily is they're directing it towards you.
Yeah,
it's very, very uncomfortable. Where like guys are like getting in your face, or like thinking you said something, or giving them a look, or like they're acting like a little bit like tweaky and stuff. And it's
because now people in big crowds, it's no longer comfortable.
No.
The guy wasn't super comfortable at this concert with that crowd,
especially when they're Well, come on.
I mean, it's a reggae concert. Most of them are high.
Come on.
But, like, still, it wasn't my favorite vibe.
And especially when security is a little bit light. Like, we're just walking right in there. Like, that's, again, it's up to a couple of things, especially when you get, like, I've got a knife pulled on. I've seen knives at fucking
venues,
concerts
in London.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, that happens. And you're like, okay. It's a little bit of a shocker. And that's always just lingering in the back of your mind.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
absolutely, buddy. Great top 3 with an honorable mention. Sorry for cutting you off earlier there.
No. You're all good.
You got anything for the people, my man?
Nope. I'm all good, dude. We're already at our time here, so I'll give a little Zelda update later on next week.
Ooh. All right. Well, you guys like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. We're not going anywhere because we're in the Cabbage. And just a reminder, keep swinging.